educational background and how you got to your position. Sometimes that's important for students to see, what your title is and what you need to do to get there. And so if you also, I'm sure they'll allow you to ask any questions afterwards. So yeah.
Okay, so hi, my name is Joanna Perez. I'm one of the counselors through the Health and Wellness Department. I'm a licensed professional counselor through the state of Texas. So I went to school and got my master's, and that's the level that you need in order to get licensed for counseling. And then I went through LCU and got that done. It took a little while, but I would say 3 years grad school after a bachelor's. So that's what I stand for. Like I said, I'm fully licensed through the state of Texas. That's another thing that takes a little bit of time. So if y'all have questions, we can definitely give y'all some more info on that.
Yeah. My name is Miranda English. I'm what's known as a licensed professional counselor associate, meaning I received my license. I did complete grad school, but I'm under 3,000 hours of supervision before I can be an LPC without the associate. So I'm still working through those 3,000 hours of supervision. I'm supervised under an LPCS who works out of Snyder. Her name is Dr. Campbell. So she's a little bit further along in her journey than I am. I was a South Plains College student. I was a South Plains College dropout 3 times actually, because I didn't know what I wanted to do first, second, or third round through. And so education was a little more challenging for me because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. When I figured it out, I was dead set on going into nursing. And then I quickly realized that nursing is not the profession for me. And so I had all of these credits here at SPC and didn't know what to do with them. And they were like, literally just go. Like, you have an associate's degree, just get out of here. And so I went to WT for my undergrad. And I decided education was a good route because I really loved going to school and I thought teaching might be pretty cool. And then I settled into special education. So I thought that working with people with disabilities would be really interesting. So that's my undergrad. I got a job in the advising office after my undergrad. And I realized I really like working with the college population and college students. And so I really liked the helping side of advising beyond the degree plan, but like working through like life issues and connecting people and students with resources to be successful, because I was that student that really didn't know how to college. And so that drove me into the counseling side to get my master's. And so I went to WT to finish out my master's in counseling. So rocky road, but we got there eventually. Questions about any of that? Okay, cool.
So what we're going to do first is we're going to actually introduce you to what services we have, just because we have a lot of resources for you guys, and we want you to make sure that you're aware that we are there if you need us. So the first one is, if you're taking classes on the Loveland campus for 6 or more hours, you technically can see the nurse practitioner free of charge. She's right across the street, right next door to our office, and you can see her Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 3:30. You can make appointments to be seen as well, or you can walk in, and if they have availability, they'll take you in. The next one's our stuff is personal counseling. So we do have licensed professional counselors. I think there's 5 of us at the Loveland campus, and then we have one at the downtown center and an intern with her. And we can see you from I'm having some little stress to I'm having some really big life issues, and I need someone to talk to. And that's what we're there for. You can walk in, same thing, and if we have availability, we will take you in, or you can call up and make an appointment. Social services and referrals. So we do have some connections with resources around the area. So if you need help with like electricity, housing, any kind of utility, gas, things of that nature, we know who to connect you with. So you can reach out to our office and say, hey, I'm having some difficulties that are affecting my school. And then we'll try our best to try to connect you to outside sources, or if there's inside sources that are available for you, then we'll give you those resources as well. One other thing that we have is the SPC food pantry that's located in our office. You can fill out a food pantry request online. It remains anonymous. So all you do is just fill out what you need. We'll fill out a bag. We'll fill a bag for you. All you do is come into our office and say, hey, I have this, and they'll give you a bag. No questions asked.
That's also available. We have hygiene products, laundry detergent, things like that. So in addition to food, it's also a hygiene pantry as well.
We also have a relaxation room. So stress management workshop, right? A lot of you are stressed. Everybody's ready for the break. So we do have massage chairs in our office available if you want to come in, say, hey, I want to use a massage chair. We'll reserve 15-minute increments for you to come relax for a little bit.
They're awesome. They're definitely underutilized.
We also house disability services. So disability services is there to help you by giving you accommodations. If you had a 504 in high school or you have any kind of disability like mental health, physical, learning, you can file with disability services and they'll give you extra accommodations to help with your class. So that's like extra time for tests, breaks, note taking, those kind of things. And then it's a very good resource to take advantage of if you do have any diagnosis.
That's me, timeline of pregnancy accommodation. So we offer pregnancy accommodation. So if you find yourself pregnant or you have a spouse that's pregnant during school, you can fill out an application for accommodations. That way, when you do have your baby, or if for some reason you're put on bed rest, we can make sure that you still complete your classes and you've got an opportunity to do that. This last year, the state of Texas added the parenting accommodation. So if you are the parent of a child and your child does get sick, this is not like, oh, my kid has a doctor's visit, so I'm not going to go to class. This is like, oh, my child is hospitalized and I'm going to have to miss X amount of time for classes. We work with you and work with your instructors to make sure that we help you complete your semester and you don't have to drop out because of that. Whether that is giving you an incomplete and giving you extra time to complete that semester, or working to extend some deadlines temporarily for you. Okay, so if you or someone you know needs that Title IX pregnancy accommodations, you can just call our office and I'll walk you through how to do that. And then I stay in constant contact throughout your pregnancy or throughout the medical issue that your children are having.
Scholarship opportunities. So our office does run a couple of scholarships. They're reimbursement opportunities. So if you're in a technical program and you're enrolled in one of those, let's say nursing, welding, automotive, business, any of those technical programs, you can qualify for some reimbursement opportunities. So we help students with gas reimbursement. So we give $15 a day for every day that you come to class. We do childcare. So if you have a kid that's in childcare, we can help pay $20 a day towards those childcare fees. So depending on if you meet the criteria, so 2.5 GPA and are enrolled in a technical program, we highly recommend you apply for this. This is on our website under student services, health and wellness, and then first step NTS. It'll show you how to apply. Any questions? We are located right across the street. So if you walk out the main front doors and you keep walking across the street, you're going to run into our office. So if you have any questions, feel free.
For like the 504 claim for next semester, should I like start doing it now?
You can.
Yeah.
Do you already have the accommodations?
No, that's like something that was hard like this semester to get.
Yeah, 100%. I would recommend you start as soon as you can and just let them know that it'll be for next semester. And then you can get your meeting out of the way and everything, and that way you're set to go.
And also, like, even if you think, oh, I'm not going to use them, get them in place because then they're there if you do have a test or something that you need, like a private room for, or things like that. So it's better to be proactive about it. Which also reminds me, y'all don't forget to get registered if you haven't already.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the stress management part. Stress, as you can tell, we're all stressed. We all have some of that going on. We're all ready for break. We're ready to be done with the semester. So it's a very shared feeling, and we just want to talk to you about what are things that help, what are things that you can do to be proactive. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is stress, what causes stress. We're going to talk about stress versus anxiety. We're going to talk about some techniques, some mindfulness and relaxation, time management, building a support system, and of course, healthy lifestyle choices. Apparently I'm not good with the
Feel like super quickly.
So what is stress? So stress is a body's natural response to pressure and challenges, such as having a lot of homework, such as having an illness, such as having a test coming up. Your body's normal reaction is going to be to stress because some stress creates motivation, and we need that in our life in order to study, in order to go to the doctor, in order to, does that make sense? So we need some of that stress, and that's what it's, our body produces it for, right?
I think sometimes the idea is I shouldn't stress, as if it's like a negative thing to experience instead of a natural thing to experience. Like we as humans, we're designed to experience stress. Think back to like early biological times, right? Like we are designed to identify scary things so we can protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe. And as we evolved as humans, our stressors became different. We're no longer looking for those basic needs. So we stress about things we view as a danger. The test I have coming up, the job interview I have coming up, things like that. Our body sees that as, oh, this is a threat to my safety and my sanity. So it's natural to stress. A lot of the times our idea is I have to stop experiencing the stress instead of working through the stress.
And use that little bit of stress for that motivation. Because that is what makes us keep going. That is what makes us do good. That is what makes me steady. That is what makes me, So small amounts of stress can be beneficial, but excessive or persistent stress can have negative effects on both physical and your mental health. So causes of stress. Tom, does anybody in here not ever feel stressed? No, right?
I always wait for the hints. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right? Everything causes stress. So it could include school, work, financial problems, family life, relationships, life changes. My straw broke this morning. Stressed me out a little bit, right? So stress is really simple things that kind of add up. Stress comes from anywhere. And it's just a body reaction, like Miranda said. I mean, there's not a saber-toothed tiger waiting for me outside, right? So I don't have to worry about those things. But that test tomorrow is pretty intense, and it's causing my stress. The workload we have is pretty stressful. It's pretty stressful. Can't talk about it. So there can be both external and internal factors that trigger stress.
It's important to take time to identify, because sometimes when we're like, I don't know why I'm stressed, that causes more stress because of the unknown. So sometimes it's important to go, I'm stressed and here's why. And make that list of like, these are the things that are stressing me out. And spend some time thinking through each item on your list. Like, I'm stressed because I have a test. That's a natural response. What can I do about the stress I have for this test? I can study. Okay, that might relieve some of my stress to prepare myself for this test.
Reminding yourself of the things I have control over. Can I control how hard the test is going to be? No. But I can control how much I study, right? So it's challenging those things on everything that's stressing you out and being like, okay, what do I have control over?
And a lot of the times when we're younger, especially adults in our lives will say things like, what do you have to stress about? There's nothing to stress about. Don't worry, right? And they mean it in a very protecting and loving way. But sometimes it ingrains the idea in us that we don't have any reason to worry and that we shouldn't stress. Instead of recognizing you have a lot to stress about, you've got things going on, and that's okay. You just need skills in place to manage the stress.
So what we want to talk about is the difference between stress and anxiety, because those are pretty correlated. We have a lot of people walking in saying, I'm anxious, but in reality, it's stress that's bringing them in. Mm-hmm. There's people that are highly stressed, and in reality, it's anxiety. So it's learning to see the difference between those two. So stress is generally a response for an external cause. So I'm taking a test tomorrow and I can feel it and I'm so scared. It goes away once the situation's gone. So once I finish that test and turn it in, I feel relieved. It can be positive or negative. For example, it can inspire you to meet a deadline, or it may cause you to lose some sleep. Both stress and anxiety can affect your mind and body. So you can experience excessive worry, uneasiness, tension, headaches, body pain, high blood pressure, loss of sleep with both of them, right? If I have a test tomorrow that's really, really big, I'm probably going to feel all of those things. Does that make sense? Anxiety. So anxiety is generally internal, and focus on generally, right? Because sometimes it's both. Meaning it's your reaction to stress. Usually involves a persistent feeling of apprehension or dread that does not go away. It's constant. You're always going to feel it. You turn that test in, but you still feel that intense fear. And it interferes with the way that you live your life. It's that feeling of I have to do something, or something's happening, or there's a tiger outside. You know what I mean? It's constant. Then we know there's more anxiety there. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
So now stress management techniques. How do we deal with it? How do we deal with those feelings? How do we know that it's normal stress, and what do we do if we think it's excessive? So exercise is one of the big ones. Meditation, yoga, good time management. Time management is one of the biggest things we work with, just because that's the big cause of stress. I can't focus on this test because I didn't study, because I didn't have time. I'm too busy. I don't have time. One of the biggest things we see is we do a lot of mindfulness, a lot of meditation with our students, because that's one of the biggest ways to release stress, to kind of come back to the here and now. One of the biggest things we see is, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to stop and breathe. But if we don't give it time, you're never going to feel better. Does that make sense? So it's managing your time in a better way to help release that stress.
A lot of the times when it comes to stress, we have this idea that we're just going to push through it, right? And that's great for resilience and grit. It's a good skill to have, to push through it, as long as we're also taking time to manage it at some point in our day. Because what happens when we continue to just get through it, the stress doesn't go away, the anxiety doesn't go away, it builds and builds. So it's important to not only have that resilience to get through, but to utilize the skills like exercise and meditation and mindfulness moments throughout your day, so you're still managing stress even when you're pushing through it. Because what happens is, when you just keep pushing through it, you'll get through it for a while, but eventually it's not sustainable anymore. And something happens, and then you're in crisis mode of like, I am way overwhelmed, I can't handle this at all. And then emotions get too big to manage. So incorporating things like this in your daily routine are important. And the whole not having time, agreed. Time is rare and there's never enough of it. But small moments of mindfulness. I have mommy driveway time. So like when I get home from work, I don't immediately go into my house, because my house will be chaos. And I just came from chaos at his work. So I have 10 minutes in the car listening to podcasts, music, etc., to calm myself down, to de-stress before I walk into my chaotic household. Because if I walk into my chaotic household right from chaotic work, I'm in chaos mode. And then I'm angry, and then I say things I don't mean, and then I act out of my emotions instead of taking the 10 minutes to unwind and de-stress. So 10 minutes.
It doesn't have to take a lot of time, and it's finding what works for you. One of the things is, exercise might not work for everybody. Find what works for you. It could be coloring, it could be walking outside for 10 minutes, it could be the music or the driveway. Everybody is different, but it's finding the ways that you feel like you're decompressing. Mindfulness and relaxation. We're always going to push mindfulness and relaxation because we know it works. We see it works every day. And it's challenging yourself to find that 5 minutes to breathe. One of the things we live with is we don't notice our breathing. When we're going 100 miles an hour, we don't even pay attention. We don't know that we're breathing. We just assume, right? But if you stop and just notice your breath, it makes a difference. A lot of times when we're stressed, when we're anxious, we're worried about the past or we're worried about the future. Mindfulness, what it does is it brings you back to the now. Because let's be honest, can we control the past? Can we control the future? So the goal is to remain in the now. And that's what breathing and mindfulness does.
Let's do a really quick exercise with breathing real quick, okay? We're all going to take a deep breath for 4 seconds in. We're going to hold it for 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And then we're going to exhale for 8. Okay? I have asthma, so I'm going to try really hard, but we'll see. Okay, ready? We're going to breathe in for 4. We're going to hold for 7. We're going to exhale. If 7 is hard, stick to 4-3-8 or 4-3-5. Okay?
It gets easier the more you do it. The first time I thought I was dying. But if you practice that, I will sit anywhere. If I'm anxious, it's funny because my husband knows. If I'm anxious and I'm sitting somewhere and he's like he leaves me alone. He lets me do my 4-7-8, and then he's like, okay, now we can talk. Do that wherever you need it. It does it. You don't have to be specific. Nobody knows what you're doing, just you.
A couple of other techniques to try that are quick to help kind of shock your parasympathetic nervous system out of that fight, flight, or freeze mode when you're stressed. Cold. Sometimes we encourage students carry around a frozen water bottle. And when you start to feel stress, and you don't remember your breath work, grab that cold water bottle, put it on your chest, hold it in your hands for a little bit. Carry around mint or sour things like hard candy.
Yeah, the warhead candies are really good at snapping you back into the now.
Those are quick stress relieving techniques because it shocks you out of fight, flight, or freeze. Not long term, but it's something that you can do quickly to calm yourself down.
Time management. So like we talked about, one of the main common causes of stress is time. I don't have enough time. Let's be honest, none of us do, right? And it's finding how to best use your time in order to be proactive, right? We want you to prepare for that test ahead of time and not wait to the last minute and go into full stress mode. So time management is always something that we're going to push for you to become better at. There's a lot of resources. We can give you tips. Advising does time management.
Advising will sit down with you and work through a time management routine. If you don't want to go sit in front of somebody, there's a worksheet online under the advising tab in student resources that will guide you through how to build out a time management schedule. Our office, I'm happy to sit down and work through time management with you. I do that a little differently because
It's more counseling.
yeah, it's more counseling based and mindful moments and things like that. But use those resources for time management. I'm not great at time management. I know that's a skill I just don't have naturally. So I have to rely on resources. We have somebody in our office that she's frequently like, do your notes. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go do my notes.
And trust those people around you because they're going to keep you. We do this in the office sometimes. We do notes, right? After each client, we have to keep track of stuff. Sometimes we do the buddy system where we all sit in one room and keep each other accountable to make sure you finish your notes. So use your friends, use your support system to keep you accountable with time management.
Yeah. And sometimes it's helpful because you're going, I don't have time. And that's very true. But recognizing where your time is going can help you prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
I've had students that are like, I don't have time. And I'm like, okay, but we just mapped out 14 hours of video games. And while I respect that, because I also love video games, maybe we can prioritize some of that time to study.
Once again, building a support system, getting support from family, friends, and coworkers helps reduce stress. So don't be afraid to share how you're feeling because more than likely you're feeling it too. I'm tired. I want a break. She's tired. She wants a break. So we rely on each other because we can push through, right? We only have a few weeks left. Rely on that support system and know that you're not alone.
And sometimes it's important just to say, hey, I need someone to listen for a minute because, hey, Joanna, I'm really stressed out because my kids are in their finals week. I'm doing some stuff on my own. Work is really getting to me. And just talking that out with somebody. It doesn't have to be us. Maybe it's a friend, a coworker, a family member. But share and be vulnerable in your stress and say, yeah, I'm really stressed. And chances are you're going to open up an opportunity for your friend to also share. Yeah, no, I'm stressed. And you're getting some validation and normalizing being stressed because that's okay.
Healthy lifestyle choices. So exercise, getting enough sleep. Sleep is one of the biggest things we fight with students because you're so worried about school that you're staying up all night. That's not benefiting you. You need sleep. Sleep is 100% necessary for you to be successful. So take care of your body, right? Do exercise, get some sleep, avoid alcohol and excessiveness, avoid cigarettes and excessiveness. Take care of your body, and your body will repay you.
And sometimes it's a checking in. Like sometimes you're stressed. It's checking in. Have I been sleeping lately? Have I been eating consistently? Have I been good to my body as far as giving it what it needs and nourishing? And even listening to my body cues. My shoulders are tense. That tells me I'm stressed. I need to do something about that. I feel stress in my stomach a lot. Like I have a sour tummy. I'm feeling really queasy. I'm probably stressed or anxious. I need to check in. So really getting in tune with what your body is telling you need.
100%. And everybody's different. Your stress is going to appear differently than everybody else's. So just kind of learn what your body's telling you and trust it. We have a little bit of a short video for us to do together. So we're going to have to move a little
Out of
bit.
your chairs. Out of your chairs.
I'm like, I can hear it.
If you can't get the sound, we can work it out with them.
First thing I want you to do is to start by rating. So, quick reminder: stress is the aspect of anxiety that we feel in our body. Worry is all about. In around 3 minutes. Okay, so quick reminder, stress is the aspect of anxiety that we feel in our body. Worry is all about thoughts, but stress is about how our muscles get tense or our breathing gets tight. Stress makes you ache or it makes your hands sweat, right? Stress is that physiological response to perceived danger. So when your brain perceives a threat, whether it's a tiger or an upcoming deadline, your brain's going to trigger that fight, flight, freeze response. But we can train our mind and our body to be calm by doing little activities that regulate the nervous system. And it's best if we do these frequently throughout the day. So for people who work in manual labor jobs, stress reduction may look like resting on the couch. But for people who spend a lot of their day frozen at their computer, reducing stress is probably going to be most effective if we incorporate movement. So here goes. First thing I want you to do is to start by rating your degree of physical tightness on a scale from 0 to 10. And now take a big, deep breath. Now bring your shoulders up and down. And keep breathing. Now gently tilt your head forward, back, side to side. Now, I want you to start shaking your arm like this. That's pretty classy looking. Ooh, yeah. Get that jiggle in, okay? Now start shaking out your other arm. Just let it get really floppy and just shake it out. This is something you can do at your desk at work or whatever, you know? Okay, now I want you to stand up and shake your leg out, right? Just get it really jiggly. Shake your leg out.
I'm seeing lots of smiles. That's
Shake your leg
good.
out. Just kind of jiggle that leg around. You may feel a little ridiculous. That's okay. Laugh at yourself if you want. Okay, now I just want you to straighten yourself up. Feel your feet on the floor. Don't forget to breathe. Hold your head up straight. Feel your legs pressing into the ground. Let yourself smile just a little bit. And now just do a little gentle forward fold. Let your arms dangle. Stand up straight. And then I want you to rate your tightness again on the same scale from 0 to 10. Did your degree of tension go down? Then this worked if it did. And if not, well, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think is helpful at reducing your stress. Okay, there's your 3-minute exercise.
So quick and easy things like that. When we say like exercise and movement, those are the type. It doesn't have to be go run a mile or go lift weights for an hour straight. It can be something simple to relax those muscles. Manuel, if we email you some other stress reduction strategies, do you mind sharing it with them? Because we forgot to bring our work. We printed them out. Okay, perfect. Lots of little tips and tricks like that. There's also like this section right here of your chest is really, really prone to like stress and anxiety. So you can do what we call finger taps. If you're in a test and you're feeling really stressed, you can focus on your breath and tap that collarbone to help bring you out of that fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. Once again, the goal is to get you to focus on the now. What do we have control on now? And that's what's going to get you out of that really overwhelmed state. One of the things that I like about this video is the fact that we are doing something silly, so we're smiling. And if you notice, smiling helps relieve stress. So kind of notice that. If you're stressed and you're going to class, smile at the people that you run into.
And that's going to create that sense of relief. That, releases some feel good hormones in our brain. So just smile, and that makes you feel better.
And these things feel silly at first. I've been in sessions a lot where clients are like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, it's not going to help if you don't try it, right? Like, I know that it looks silly, but there's no one here but me and you. I'll do it with you. It really does help relax those muscles and get you through and reduce some of that stress.
So by implementing, little techniques, little things in your life, you can maintain your physical and mental health. So little things, like we said, a simple smile before 7-8 is wonderful. I live with that thing all day. So try what works for you. And like we said, we'll send Manuel some extra stuff that he will share with y'all so that you can try different things as well.
And we are just scratching the surface on things that you guys can implement throughout the day. So again, I want to plug our office, and I want to say, I think that sometimes people think I'm not going to therapy because I'm not going through anything really big. It doesn't have to be anything really big. It could be emotional regulation and learning some stress techniques. You guys will eventually be in a career, so learning interpersonal relationships. And again, how do I regulate my emotion when I'm really angry because my coworker has really upset me? How do I manage that? Putting those skills in now while they're free to use is going to be really helpful for you. So again, you don't have to be in a big crisis to come see us. You can say, I just need some help regulating my emotions, because sometimes stress gets the best of me.
Let's be
Anger
honest, we
gets
don't
the
learn how
best
to
of
do
me.
that on a normal day-to-day, right?
Mhm.
So
No,
that's what we're here for.
I didn't learn that growing up. I didn't learn that until grad school.
Any questions?
Thank you very much. We
Awesome. Thank
appreciate
y'all so
that.
much.
Do you go ahead and do your survey, and we're gonna go ahead and do a drawing for door prizes. And I'll feel free to, if you wanna grab some food, please.
Oh, thanks.
Some food and some drinks.
I'll email you here in a little bit.
All right, awesome.
Thanks.